The Shield and the Wyatt family, I had no such problems with. I had very high expectations for this match after their pay-per-view match at Elimination Chamber, which was the best WWE match of the year so far. This one, it's funny. I was thinking, which one was better? Which one did I like more? I liked the pay-per-view match more. I just felt like it was more chaotic. It was longer. I just thought overall it was a better match. But this was awesome in every conceivable way. I mean, you could say that this match was every bit as good as the pay-per-view match. It certainly wasn't any worse. This was just awesome stuff. I loved everything about this. It was balls-to-the-wall action. Seth Rollins was out of his frickin' mind in this match. There were that one sequence where he did a dive out onto, I think it was Rowan on one side, got right back into the ring, immediately did another dive onto Harper on the other side. I mean, he was flying all over the ring like a rubber ball. And I was just thinking to myself, please don't die. I mean, there were a few times he came off the ropes, and I thought, he's going to break an ankle. He's going to hurt his knee. He was a crazy man out there. He looked like a man possessed. He looked like somebody who was on a mission to stand out, is what it looked like to me. And if that was the goal here, mission accomplished. Because I have to tell you, after the last couple of weeks, after that match on Monday, they had that segment on SmackDown that I did see, the Shield Summit, where all three of them were in the ring together. They were trying to hash out their problems. They were slapping each other in the face and pushing and shoving, and it looked like they were going to do the big Shield breakup on SmackDown, which I laughed at. Just the thought that after all these months and months and months, they've been together a year and a half, they've been building this breakup now for a while, that they would actually do the breakup angle on SmackDown was laughable to me. I had one person ask me, if I thought they were going to do it. Of course not. On SmackDown, come on. I don't think they should do it until WrestleMania, quite frankly. And I see these three guys probably wrestling each other at WrestleMania. That doesn't mean they have to break up before then. They could keep building tension, and they could come to an understanding that, listen, I think the only way to settle our differences is to do it in the ring. And they make a match, maybe even for Ambrose's U.S. title at WrestleMania, do a triple threat. I could easily see them doing it because I don't see where else you plug these guys in. They're not going to take one member of the Shield and put them in a singles match. I don't think they're going to do Ambrose and Big E in a unification match. They could. I don't think they will. So what do? Are you going to take two members of the Shield and put them in a tag match, let's say Gauntlet with the Usos and like 2 or 3 other teams and put them in a tag title match? Makes no sense to have the Shield fighting for the tag belt at this point if you're just going to break them up. So there is no other logical spot on the card for them unless it's against each other. So I figure that's probably what we're going to get at WrestleMania. And if we get it, I think Rollins is going over in that match. I think whatever issues there are with Reigns and Ambrose continue. Rollins ends up getting the win. And the point I was trying to make was that between that match and the Shield Summit, where Rollins did most of the promo work on Friday night, his promos have come very far from where they were at the beginning. He was a little shaky on the mic when the Shield first came up. Reigns was still very inexperienced if you go back and watch him then compared to now. Rollins wasn't exactly a great promo guy. Ambrose, I think, has always been great when it comes to that kind of stuff. Ambrose was also awesome on Friday night, but Rollins is the one who stands out to me. Rollins has really stepped up his game. He's really gone above and beyond to try to stand out because everyone's talking about Roman Reigns as the next big thing, and Dean Ambrose is awesome, and he's going to be this great heel, this great villain. But I feel like Rollins a lot of times gets the shaft, and what he's been able to do over the last couple of weeks is turn people in a different direction where I see a lot more people online, a lot more people on Twitter talking about Rollins more than anything else. Rollins has all the tools. I mean, he's good on the mic. He's awesome in the ring. He could be a great heel. He could be a great babyface. I think he could be a much better babyface, actually. I think his future, because that's what he was on NXT when he was the NXT champion, I think his future is as a babyface. But he can play either role very well. And with a guy like him, his strength as a heel is that he can bump around like a maniac. He's kind of like Dolph Ziggler in that way. So everything he does is really, really good. And it would be a crime to overlook that just because, well, we've got big plans for Roman Reigns because he's big and he looks good, and because Dean Ambrose, well, he's Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins ends up, toiling in the mid-card. It would be a crime if that happened because he's so much better than that. All three of these guys can be world champions at some point. Now, it probably hurts them that there's only one title. I guess they could always break them back up and kind of de-unify them. I wouldn't want to see that, but it kind of hurts them in that way. It hurts certain people not having 2 titles, although I think having one is for the better. But Rollins has stepped up his game. He was really impressive this week on Raw and on SmackDown. And I'm loving everything they're doing with the Shield, and the only thing that makes me sad is that they're going to break up. And I'm in my mind, I'm going over ideas and scenarios where maybe we can get these guys kind of off on their own on a singles path without actually breaking them up, because they're so damn good together. And I'm not afraid to say that, to me, and I've said this for a while now, that the Shield is the greatest three-man duo that I've ever seen in wrestling. And I know there have been a lot of great trios over the years in WWE, WCW, NWA. The Freebirds gets mentioned a lot, and they were great. The Freebirds were very good, but I don't think the Freebirds were as good as the Shield. I think the Shield, and part of it is the way they've been booked, because they could have very easily been just booked into oblivion to look like every other guy they bring up. Look at some of the other guys they brought up from NXT. Look at poor Xavier Woods. What the hell has he done since he got brought up? So things could have very easily gone south for these guys, but they have protected them, and this is what happens when you protect guys. Here we are a year and a half later. These guys have been around, and all three of them conceivably could be a world champion. It's amazing how that works when you actually protect guys instead of bury them or put them in a situation, where they're going to fail. They haven't done that with the Shield. But everything they do, they complement each other very well. Reigns is the muscle, and he does his thing. Ambrose is kind of crazy and off the wall and unpredictable. And like I said, Rollins is just really, really good. He's a great wrestler. And I love the act. And I can't think of another trio that's better than them. And I think you have to put them up there in the upper echelon when it comes to wrestling factions. Whether it's 3 guys, 4 guys, 6 guys, the NWO, DX, whatever your favorite faction is. I'm not saying the Shield is number 1, but you got to put them up there. They've got to be in the conversation when it comes to all-time best groups in wrestling. That's how good these guys are. So it's going to be really a sad day, I think, when they break up. But maybe there's a way. Maybe they can somehow figure out a way to get these guys going off on their own without actually breaking them up. Maybe they could still be friends, and I don't know. I'd have to think about that. You don't have to necessarily break them up. They don't have to turn on each other and all that kind of stuff. And it would be weird if, let's say, Rollins and Reigns became big baby faces, but Ambrose was still a heel. So how do you kind of keep them as friends in that case? But, maybe there's a way. Maybe there's a way.